here at Carolina Creative Check. Today I am making a wood sign. I'm painting it using a stencil that I created on Cricut. So what I did is I used 630 vinyl. I cut out the stencil, I weeded the letters out, and I cut it out so it fits right into my wood palette here. And I'm going to transfer it over, and then I'm going to use a coat of Mod Podge. Let that dry 100% before I paint. After that, I'm just going to use 2 paint colors and probably a second coat. And then when it's completely dry, or at least 90% dry, I'll pull off the stencil. This stencil says all you need is love and a boat, so that's going to go on the top here. So let me get my stencil down. Being stubborn. Okay. I measured it so it fits right in here. It's like a 6 by 6 space. And I use the lines on the transfer tape to help me get it perfectly straight. So look at my little Cricut tool here. And I'm just going to make sure that there is absolutely no bubbles in here, so that I don't have bubbles on top. The point of the Mod Podge is to make sure that it doesn't bleed, so it does help. So let me pull off the transfer tape now that this is done, and we'll do the first coat of Mod Podge, let it dry, and then we'll come back to this in a bit. So I want to make sure everything stays. Every little letter. Being a little stubborn here. Transfer tape is very sticky, so I want to make sure all my pieces stay, and I'll push them down even more after I pull this up. I usually use either 651 or 631. Usually 651 stays, but it's a little bit harder to pull up later. 631 can be tricky, but it's easier to pull up first. I use both, and really both work just fine. Not wanting to come up, but that's okay. We'll get it to stay. Sometimes just pulling it from a different angle helps as well. Piece is not wanting to stay. And get that back down. And just use your scraper tool to make sure that everything's down flat and in the right place. Okay. I'm gonna make sure all my pieces are there and that it's down, because I don't want anything to bleed. That's what the Mod Podge is going to do. I think I am good to go. Okay, so I'm using Mod Podge, and I'm using a very skinny brush because these letters are very tiny. This is only 6 inches by 6 inches, this picture. It's a very thin coat, and I just want to make sure I get it all when I get all the letters. I'm going to go both directions when I do it, up and down and side to side. It's been an important little trick, just to make sure you get everything. You don't want to overdo it, but you definitely want to get them all. we go. I had to press that piece down a little bit, so I got to be very careful with that little spot, just to make sure that it stays down. And there's little nooks in here too, so running against those lines, I'll use an X-Acto knife or just a sharp tool at the end. Okay, we will come back later after this dries to do the other coats. Okay, Mod Podge is dried. It's been a few hours, so now we're gonna paint the first coat of this. I like to do 2 coats and then let it dry a couple hours in between coats, and then we will pull the stencil off, and hopefully we have a beautifully painted project. I'm just gonna use some navy blue and gonna paint some of the words navy. And I'm just using some wood paint I purchased at Michael's. And then we're gonna paint the other letters in a turquoisey color. I like using these foam brushes much better than paint brushes. I find that it looks so much better. And this one's got a little bit of a nautical, rusticy, if that even makes any sense, kind of look. So those colors will look really good with it. You want to give yourself enough room to around your stencil with the vinyl so that you can go and just not paint the letters but paint everything around those letters. So now I'm going to do the turquoisey color. These letters are a little bit smaller, so I'm using a thinner foam brush. Second coat is dry and I'm ready to peel off my stencil, and I'm going to just use the weeding tool to pick it up to help with it, and then I can use it to help me with any extra little paint that's on there if I need to as well. And then you have to pick up some of the pieces also as you go. You need to weed some of these pieces in here as well. Looks like it had pretty great lines. This stencil comes up very quickly with the 631. That's the best part about using that, but like I said, it doesn't matter if you use 631 or 651. The let's see, oh, part of that little paint. Oh no, no. This wood has got a very funny backing to it, and because of the paint, there's like a little piece right there. That it's fine. I might touch it up a little bit with a very thin paintbrush, just because I'm so particular about everything. I don't even want anything to be off a bit. But this isn't just flat wood, it's got a texture to it, so it's a little bit textured. Oh yeah, my D paint got pulled off too, so I will definitely touch up a little bit with that because it's on one of the textured parts with it. Which is no big deal to touch up, but the lines are very clear on this, and it came out pretty well. I think the textured wood added a little bit to my words. Little pieces came off with that texture. I think overall the lines came out great on this. The one little fix up I will do in that D with the paint, I'll do that by hand, is this, because it pulled up some of that white paint. And then at the bottom I did an anchor. And this came out really adorable as well. And I will be hot gluing a little paper clip here so that they can post a picture in there as well. So this is what it looks like. I'll show you the final finish after I do a minor little touch up. All you need is love and a boat. But if you use the Mod Podge, it makes the lines very clear. Don't let that completely dry. Then do coat 1, then do coat 2. This is the first time I've ever used textured wood, but on a regular wood, you shouldn't have any issues at all. It came out nice and clear, your words. Okay, last up, this is all done. I did a touch up on the 2 spots that I needed to do that came off with the background paint. So it is finished. I put a little clip on there so we can do a picture. I did that with a hot glue gun. The last thing I want to do is use this Mod Podge. It's just a spray sealer so that everything stays. So you can use it on wood. I'll do 2 coats of this and then it'll be done, okay? Coat 1, you just give it quick squirts and sprints like that, and then coat 2, you just go side to side in like a sweeping motion, and let it dry completely between the coats, and our project is done. So the stencil and paint. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks.